I'm just over at the second plot at the moment, and I'm just about to sow the parsnip seeds. And the method I use a cylindrical format whereby I drive a stake in the ground, bore a hole out such as a cone shape about 16 inches deep, as you can see with the last one there. I then sifted some of the Jack's Magic multi-purpose compost, which is from Westlands, and just basically top the holes up, and then what I'll do is I'll give them a watering in just so the soil can sink and settle a bit, and then I'll finally top them up again to the top, make 3 small impressions in the soil, and then I'll sow a seed in each station. So the second stage is now complete of filling up the holes, and I'll just run you through the third and final stage really. So they're about 6 inches at the top of these holes, and they go down to a point, and all I do is just very centrally mark on 3 small indentations such as that. And by putting it as centrally as possible, you can enable that when you start thinning them out, they're going to be growing in the central spot, and they're not going to be growing to a side and then having to bend back in place and forking to straighten themselves up. So I'll just get set up with the seeds and I'll be back with you shortly. So the variety I'm using is White Gem, and it's Mr. Fothergill's. Nice long tap roots, good flavour, and should suit my soil nicely. So parsnip seeds are very temperamental. These are what they're like. They're similar to that of celery, and basically you just need to put one of these into each hole as such. Make sure ideally it's not a windy day. I am trying to do this one-handed, but also without it blowing a bit of a gale at the same time, so I'm keeping my hands well and truly cupped. But anyway, let's have a go. I can always sort it out in a minute when I've put the phone down. So just drop a seed in each one best you can, and then cover them over, and I'll put the cloches back on, and then they can be left to their own devices. Okay, so that's all the parsnip seeds put in now. I've just put a sprinkling of the multi-purpose compost over the top. I'll give it a light watering in, and then I'll return the cloches over the top. Probably won't see anything appear for another 3 weeks or so. They are quite temperamental parsnip seeds. To see if you've got viable seeds, you can chit them on a piece of damp kitchen roll, and then once they start sprouting, use that way. I've done that one before, but because I put 3 per station, I've usually got a 100% germination rate per hole at least. Maybe not every seed, but at least in every hole. Once you've finished sowing the seed, I'd advise to throw the seeds away. I won't leave them for next year or the year after, because they don't store very well, and they're very temperamental again. So I usually just, for the sake of how much they cost, I think they only cost about 99 pence. So I'm going to sow a row of parsnips in another allotment which I've taken on, which I'll show you in the next video probably, and after that I'll just discard all the seeds. So that's how I sow my parsnips. So now to sowing some more roots, and I've got an old reservoir tank from the loft when we had the heating done a few years ago. I've kept it and filled it with multi-purpose compost, and it's great for sowing some carrots. Now it's about 10 inches deep, so plenty of depth, and I've made 4 little furrows there just with my hand, and I'm just going to drop a seed in probably every inch, and then I'll just lightly cover it over again with some more compost. The variety in this particular trough I'm going to use is Nonce 5. So as you can see, you can just make out the little specks inside each trough, and all I'm going to do is just lightly tickle the soil over the top, probably giving it about an inch covering or so. The soil's quite moist as it is, so I'm not going to give it any watering. Just firm the rows down slightly. As such, and then I've got an implement just to keep the warmth and the temperature in. So I've just put a glass panel on just to keep a bit of warmth, and hopefully the sunshine can heat the soil up, and then I can get some carrots germinating within the next couple of weeks. Just in the greenhouse at the moment, and a task I've been on with the last week is digging out the old cord carrot box holes. Now what's happened is, as I've bored the holes out, it's obviously decreased the level of which the sand is in. And what I've done is I've just given it a bit of a watering through. That one's dried up a bit better than the other box. And what I'm going to do now is just top it up with some more grit sand. What I do with these, I'll show you as I go on anyway, but just a quick brief description. I bore the holes out using a 3-inch cylindrical downpipe tube, such as this one. This one here is a 4-inch one, and the reason I use the 4-inch one to core it out is just to make sure that I get all the soil out, or as much out as I can possible, even if I take a bit of sand, and then it can all be levelled off and flattened as such. Watered just to settle the level of the sand, and then topped up again with grit sand to the top of the box, and then I'll reapply the 3-inch tube in, make some more holes and go from there. But I'll show you how I do it step by step anyway, because it's getting on to that stage of March now. I think it's the 16th today, so I want to be getting my carrot seeds sown round about the last few days of March. So I'll get set up and get the rest of these boxes topped up, and then I'll get back to you shortly. A few of the holes cored out now, and the reason I've only done a certain few and there's some to do is because the holes keep collapsing. So I'm going to put a few in at a time, then fill them right up before I bore the others out. So what I've got here is I've got a 3-inch pot at the bottom and a 4-inch pot at the top, and basically I've just cut the holes out at the bottom of each one. And what I'll do, it creates a bit of a funnel, so to speak, and then I'll put soil in the top of there, and it should hopefully top up the holes nicely. Now this is the Jack's Magic compost. It's sieved through a nice fine sieve, so I'm not sure if this is going to work or whether I might need to just pop you down, and then I'll get back to you just in a minute. Okay, so I've decided I'm just going to do it with my hand. Just top these up, and basically the idea is to keep it within the hole and it's not messy. I know there's going to be bits what's going to pop out, but you can do this with a little pot as well. So I'm just going to keep this topped up. I mean, these holes are probably about 2 foot deep or something like that, maybe a bit more. It just gives the carrot plenty of room and space to grow. They're usually growing about, well, I've had them up to a foot before, 12 inches on a good one a couple of years ago, but they're usually around about the 9-inch mark. So I'm just going to top all these up then, and I'll be back with you shortly. So this is what you're left with then after filling the hole up with the compost. It's just a nice neat cylindrical hole filled up basically, and when I come to sow the carrots at the end of this month, I'll bring you more footage of that. But my aim is to then get another 4, 8, 12 lots in between the holes what I've cored, or I might just do in between each one, so to speak, where the dots are, so that, you know, they're slightly staggered a bit, and it might help with the erosion of the holes. So this is it anyway, so I'm going to get back to finishing this off, and then I'll show you the end result. Right then everyone, so that's the first box complete. I've managed to get 25 holes cored out and refilled with the multi-purpose compost. I've just dampened it down so it can settle down a bit, the soil, and then I'm going to put a piece of glass over the top just to heat it up a bit, and looking to sow the seeds next time I'm down, which will probably be in the next video I bring to you. So for this video and the episode, it's all been about the roots and how I prepare everything. I'll bring you footage of the potatoes what I'm growing in pots, and also some news on a new allotment plot I've taken. As this one what I'm currently stood on, we've been told to vacate by September, as the owner is obviously seeking to get planning permission at the expense of everybody on here. So unfortunately there's going to be 15-16 people without an allotment. Thankfully for me I can go elsewhere, but it's not the point. It's been here for donkey's years. But anyway, that's for another day that. So for the time being, thank you for watching. See you soon. Take care of yourselves. See you in the next one. Bye for now.